What's going on, guys? I'm here with AJ from Rachetta's Parkour. AJ, tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and what you guys do.
So we are a parkour school, and for those of you that don't know what parkour is, it's about movement of going through various kind of like obstacle course-ish type things. Like we go over obstacles, we climb over walls, we swing on bars. It's a movement and a practice about going through your environment in the most efficient way possible, but gives us a lot of room for creativity and freedom of expression. So, what we do is we set up various obstacles and we figure out ways to get over the obstacles using like our hands, our feet, jumping from one obstacle to another obstacle, incorporating rolls. How do we fall properly? And then, like I said, we climb up walls, we swing on bars, we just do a lot of really extraordinary things. And it's a very unique practice that I think is very very cool, but also very efficient at the same time. So I won a contest that gave me a promotional video for my business. This is a business that actually just started at the tail end of February to beginning of March of 2025. And this is something that I had wanted to do at some point anyways, was make some sort of higher quality promotional video kind of showcasing what we do and what we're about and what we can offer to the Syracuse and CNY area. So it worked out perfectly. And the way that we set it up was I had these guys come in during three or four different classes. I believe, no, it was three classes. So we had the juniors class for the 5 to 8 year old range. We had the Par Kids classes, I call them, and that's for the 8 to 13, 14-ish range. And then we had a teens and adults class for the students who are in the mid to late teens and then just full adults. And each class has a different vibe. It had a different feel and setting to it. And really, the idea was to showcase what each class looked like and sort of what sort of general vibe we brought to the community. On top of that, just having my voice talking about who we are, what we do, and the benefits of parkour for pretty much every age that we offer. And it worked out very well. It was professionally shot, lots of really cool dynamic angles, professional lighting. We also had a couple of testimonials from both students and parents. And I think that those are very important because when you're deciding what sort of program you want your kid or you want yourself to be a part of, sometimes it's not always easy to contact the owner or have a phone conversation, or maybe you're just too busy and you can't take that phone call, but maybe you can watch a video. And seeing all of the different testimonials that could be made for this type of business is very important. Whenever I'm going to a restaurant or I want to go and try someplace new, the first thing that I look up is what are other people saying about it. And I think that the testimonials are very important about that, especially when it comes to the benefit and well-being of your kids. So I think that that was excellently done. And then kind of saying my piece about who we are, what we do, what the program's about, I think gives a better picture of what exactly we do at Rachetta's Parkour. It is more than just I'm setting up an obstacle and we're going to climb over this thing and we're going to do that for 40 minutes. We're also talking about social stories with the younger kids, what does it really mean to go on these obstacles? How can we be safe on the obstacles? We have to wait in a line. It's just a natural part of life, so we have to wait our turn. We have to wait for this kid to get off the obstacle before we can go. Make sure that the obstacle is clear before you go so that way you guys don't get hit. And that's with the juniors. The kids is kind of the same pace, but that next step up of, they understand their bodies a little bit more. They want to try new things. Some of them may not have an understanding of that just yet, or maybe they just need someone to coach them and help them kind of get to that next tier while still talking about, what it means to be a good person and make sure that you guys are being nice to each other and positive encouragement. And then that kind of also falls in line with the teens as well. Teens can be, a kind of a struggle in their own way. They can be their own worst enemy. They have self-confidence issues. They may think that they're too cool for this, or maybe they're just too scared to try something new because they've been used to something specific for their entire lives. And really showcasing that, like, this is a program for everybody, and it is something that, you know, regardless of your prior experience, you can try out and enjoy. And then with the adults, you know, depending on your age, you could be someone who's in college who wants to be a part of some community, or you want to get some exercise, or you're a bit older, you want to get back into shape, or maybe you just want to have a fun activity to do every once in a while and meet a group of people who can all share kind of the same thing. I think that explaining that is very hard on a website. Explaining it in person and kind of hearing someone tell you about all of these things, and again, just not just me, but testimonials, I think is very important. I think it's a really big piece of why this type of video is something that I wanted to make.
Can you tell us about like how impactful it is to actually hear from the students itself, to hear like their stories, their backgrounds, and how that translates into what you're doing, the effect of the things that they're learning, not only like about parkour, but about themselves as well at the same time, and how having that on a film really can help, sell new clients, get, more awareness to the brand. Can you just kind of touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So, as a television and film guy, I'll kind of relate this a bit to film and television as well, because we see characters in a TV show, or we see superheroes on a superhero film. And we really connect with these characters because we are seeing them on screen and we are experiencing their stories in real time. So, I always find that having a connection with somebody in a video style format really helps to be more relatable and give a more realistic impression of what they experience and what the program is about. Because I can sit here and talk all day about how our program is amazing and everyone should sign up and you should travel from Oswego, Rochester. You should come to this place because it's super awesome and super cool. But sometimes hearing a little kid say, like, I feel so cool doing all of these parkour moves, or hearing another person say, like, I feel very confident when I'm coming over here, especially if I had a bad day, or even you just had a bad day at work and you just wanted to blow off some steam and just hang out with some cool people. That stuff is really important because it makes you more relatable, and in turn it does help get more clientele, not necessarily so I can buy a Lamborghini in like a year or two or whatever, but just to bring more awareness to what we do and how impactful it is for everybody of all ages. And that is really ultimately the goal of what I want to do. Is I want more people to be invested in a program like this. I want more people to be aware of a program like this. And I get conversations all the time from people who tell me, I had no idea that this was around. I just want to get as many eyes and ears on us as possible so they can make the decision for themselves on if they want to invest their time, their energy, and, in a lot of cases, their children with us.
Makes sense. Have you implemented this video in anywhere into your website anywhere yet?
I have not implemented it into the website or anything just yet because I am very busy with a lot of stuff, and I was kind of waiting for the right time to present it when it would be the most impactful. So I didn't want to just drop it on a random Tuesday, for example. And I know that a lot of kids are going back to school right now, so parents are either looking for programs for their kids right now, or they're so overwhelmed that they just want to lay down and go to bed after a long day. So I think they're kind of implementing it probably within the next month or so, and then putting little tidbits of it here and there is going to be just personally my best strategy, especially because too, like, we're talking about this in the middle of September. Holidays are coming up. November, December is a very, very busy time for parents and families, and just pretty much everybody in this area. So I feel like it would make more sense to start implementing it probably within the next, like, just from when we're talking, like, 2-ish weeks or so, and then talk more about it again when the new year comes around. Because a lot of people really like to focus on the new year, new them philosophy. And even myself, typically what I do around that time is I have goal setting worksheets that I present to everyone and say, like, physically write down your goals and we're going to do whatever we can to try to help accomplish them. And again, it's another thing that I like doing with people, but there is a right time and a right place to kind of present and show things. And I'm just waiting for that right time to implement the full video and then, take little tidbits of it and then kind of spread it out for the specific demographics that we have. Like, just to kind of give an example, you know, if for some reason I'm thinking, all right, like the month of February, I want to really push our teens and adults program. So I'm going to make something based off of our teens and adults program and really cater to them. Maybe I want to make something for the little kids, like the juniors. So I'm going to make like a 30-second compilation of just the little kids and really showcase that to people. And I found that in my experience, when that happens and you cater to a specific demographic one at a time, then they're more likely to sign up, or they're more likely to see it for them specifically, or they see something for the little kids and they think, oh, do they have something for adults too? And then they check it out that way. So I think it's all about timing and the right place, the right time, the right moment to showcase this stuff. And I mean, even like physical time too, like in the middle of the day. Like, I wouldn't want to publish something like this at like 9 o'clock at night or 8 in the morning, but like noon, one, like probably 4 or 5, like when they get off of work or they're on their phone break and they start scrolling on Facebook. Like, that's really the nice time that I found anyways for like publishing that sort of thing. And I found a lot of success posting at specific times that work for families.
Very cool. What would you say to a business owner here in the local CNY area that's, thinking to themselves like, why would I need a brand film? What's the purpose of having something like this? Can you kind of give your experience on why someone should tell the story of their company, their brand, in more detail than just, basically showing what they do, but actually, having the different aspects of testimonials and showing and teaching. And can you give us a little bit on that?
Yeah. So I think that at the end of the day, every business owner's primary objective should be to get their product, their service, what have you, on as many eyes as possible, while also figuring out the widest demographic possible. And I could sit down and I could call like the 100 or so leads that I have every single day to try to talk to them. But at the end of the day, they're not all going to be available to talk to me, or maybe they don't want to talk to me. I also understand that. But having a brand film that can show people what you're about and something that you can almost present to people that this is what you do, this is how it impacts the people who participate in what you do, I think is very important because you never know who is watching at what time. Like I said, I could be making phone calls all day and talk to nobody, and technically no progress has been done. But even looking at like my Google Analytics or my Facebook Analytics, I can tell that people click on my stuff, people see my stuff. And I don't want people to see my stuff and think that like this looks boring, or why should this appeal to me, or what does this have to do with me, or do people really like this sort of thing? Like, yes, they do. And that's why the testimonials are very important. And like I said, I could talk all day about how wonderful my program is, but hearing it from another person who has personally experienced what we do, I think that is way more important. If I'm looking for a video game recommendation, I'm gonna look to one of my friends who has played video games and say, "What video game should I play?" And they will give me the recommendation that they think based on their experience. So if I have a child and I want them to participate in a physical activity that's going to be good for them, and I don't know anything about martial arts or sports or whatever, I'm going to look for help and I'm going to look to see what people are saying. And I think that it really is the thing that really makes or breaks a business, because if you get those negative reviews on Google and you fall below a certain average, then you've lost the trust in people. And that's why I think that those testimonials are very important, good or bad. We're all about our product. We're all about our service. And that service is caring about every student that walks in the door and making sure that they have the biggest smile on their face when they leave. And if that doesn't happen, then that's a problem. And hearing people say that this is what they think of my program and it brings a smile to my face, that's how I know that I did a good job. And that's how I know that these guys did a good job producing the film that they made.
So can you tell us about the process of working with Black Stag Industries?
So my personal experience with Black Stag Industries was phenomenal. I won a contest through them, and they contacted me and we were talking about what my business was about and how they could best suit my needs for the specific film that I wanted to make and the story that I wanted to tell. And there were a lot of questions that were asked that I could use for the interviewing portion. And it also really, it kind of made me think like, yeah, like what exactly am I about? What exactly do I want to offer to people and present to people with this message that I have? And I'm not the best when it comes to words and that sort of thing. So it was a good process to be able to really sit down and really deconstruct all of the different questions that were being asked and how to present it in the most honest way that I possibly could. And then we talked about whether we were going to film outside or inside and kind of what worked best for us. And we ended up kind of doing a combination of both, where they came in to film a couple of my indoor classes at the facility that I currently train in. And then for the teen and adult portion, we actually went outside to do some wall stuff, which it was a beautiful day and it was a beautiful opportunity to do it. And it showcases a whole other level of what we do, and being very flexible and actually like taking the equipment and going outside in order to actually film that portion was great. And I think it really added to the film to kind of showcase like this is another portion of what we do while also not looking stale by doing like by staying in the same location, if that makes sense. And I think that for these guys too, they do more than just brand work. They help you really digest what your brand is about and what else they can do to help you succeed. Because if we succeed, they succeed. And that's really I think what it's all about. So, I mean, I recommend these guys 100%. I think that if you're looking to get any sort of brand film or any sort of like recognition of your business, your product, and really like want to showcase to the community about what you guys are about, you should absolutely consider this.
Guys, this is what working with us is like. We're here to tell the story of your brand, of what you're about, and make sure that more and more people know what it is that you do and how you can help them. So thank you, AJ, for your time and best of luck on everything.
Thank you so much.